What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pace Studios here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are really excited to have with us right now John Beasley and the Monkestra, which normally is a 15-piece big band that plays the music of Thelonious Monk, but today we have them in a much more manageable for our space trio with Yasushi Nakamura on bass and Clarence Penn to my right on drums. So guys, today is the centennial of Thelonious Monk, the legendary jazz pianist and composer. Today would have been his 100th birthday. So we are really thrilled to have you guys here because you are right now sort of the premier interpreters of Monk's music, and you've done it in this incredible big band format. Today we're going to get kind of a stripped down version of all that. You're going to do a couple songs, or 3 songs, I think, from your collection of Monk interpretations. Tell me a little bit about the first one you're going to do for us today.
We're going to do a tune called Crisscross that originally had a vibes player on it named Milt Jackson, and a great solo, and really a unique tune for, especially, a lot of these tunes were written anywhere from 80 to 60 years ago.
Yeah.
So, the great thing, the genius of Monk is that his music is very much alive today as it was when it's just as fresh. Right, so we've kind of like interpreted with an Afro-Cuban vibe to it.
Cool.
So this is Crisscross.
All right.
This is Monkestra -12.
Guys, thank you so much. So, John, you now have made recorded two albums of with this band. Monkestra Volume 1 came out last year. Volume 2 just came out last month in September. My curiosity is this is Monk was a composer known for, among other things, a certain off-kilter rhythm, some atonal qualities in his music that can be difficult to interpret, especially one would think in a big band setting. Why Monk's music of all the great jazz composers? Why set his music into this format?
Well, some of it was because of those very reasons. He was so far ahead of his time. I think we're just now kind of catching up to him as the general public goes. And his music was so unique. And, his son T.S. actually told me that he actually wrote these tunes for guys to put their own voice into, right? So, and the other thing is like any great composer, like Bach, if you will, or Beethoven or Stevie or Gershwin, so pliable. How many versions of a Stevie Wonder have you heard? Different kind of things, or Gershwin, or Bach. Bach sounds great slow or fast.
Yeah.
And for me, I was, I'm into technology, so I was experimenting with Sibelius, kind of getting to know that program. So I wanted to see...
Like a notation software.
It's a notation software, exactly. Right. And it's sort of like doing a track like Logic or whatever, but, it's you're stepping it in, you can print the music out, hear it back as you arrange. And I wanted to experiment with 20th century harmony, contemporary harmony, but something that swang. So I thought about doing a Monk tune first, and it kind of stuck, and I realized fast how pliable and how I could really manipulate it into kind of the sum of my parts, right?
Yeah.
Which is funk and Afro-Cuban and jazz, of course. And
right. Yeah. I was going to ask in terms of, because there are those elements in this project. There's some Afrobeat rhythms you can find on this album. There's even some soul vocal, some rap. Was that always part of your blueprint for this project, and really kind of infusing more modern elements of music back into it? Or did that sort of come as you kept going with it?
That came as I picked a tune to arrange. I would hear it in my head and try to follow the stream, the stream of consciousness, if you will. And, it just kind of came out that way. I knew I wanted to be contemporary, because that's my generation. That's where we are right now. And, jazz musicians, we have one foot, in the past and one foot going forward. So... so, it kind of came as a tune-by-tune basis.
Right.
It wasn't say, okay, now I'm going to write a funk arrangement, now I'm going to do an Afro-Cuban thing.
Right.
It just kind of happened organically, if you will.
Yeah, cool. So you guys are going to do a couple more are these all from Volume 2, or does this span the two records?
Crisscross is one we just played, was from Volume 2. Now we're going to play Round Midnight, our version of Round Midnight, which is... the classic.
Yeah, maybe his
Thelonious
most well-known tune. Probably, I guess. Blue Monk, maybe. But I guess probably Around Midnight, yeah.
Probably so. And this is from Volume 1, and this is our vibe on it.
Guys, thank you. That really sounds amazing. So you've done 2 of these records now. Volume 2 just came out last month. Presumably you were playing Volume 1 for a while before you started making Volume 2. So what changed? I mean, there must have been something you learned along the way, something you realized worked or didn't work. I mean, was there a lot of evolution from one to the next?
I'd say that I definitely evolved as an arranger, an interpreter, if you will. And in the band, I kind of learned how to write for these individual guys, And also, most of Volume 2 was written over the period of the summer before last, right? Which was, really heavy politically, man.
Yeah.
And so, this was definitely affecting me. And I tried to put this into the music, and then I started thinking about what Thelonious Monk and his generation went through, being African American, geniuses, and so different from mainstream music, during segregation and everything, and the prices they had to pay and all that stuff. So, a lot of music is. A lot of the music is influenced with.
How would you say that factored in? I mean, how did that actually manifest itself
Well,
in what you wrote?
There's a tune we do called "Evidence" that is really inspired by Coltrane's his work on Ascension and The Promise in Alabama, which is songs he wrote for the civil rights movement. There was Charles Mingus, "Fables of Fabulous." It was back in those days, cats were really putting, in their music what was happening culturally at the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for us as a collective world culture to get back into, to bring awareness into, what's really happening to our world, and hope that we can change it. We can change things again, like those cats did in the '60s with civil rights and.
Yeah, well,
Vietnam
hopefully by Volume 3, it'll all be solved.
Yeah.
Right? And you'll just go back to making happy music.
That's right.
Yeah. I want to. I just want to interrupt for a second. We're gonna do something really cool here for all of our fans and our readers watching and listening. We have here a poster that goes with the record. We have the record itself. We're gonna get John and we're gonna get Clarence. We're gonna get Yasushi to sign these, and whoever, you guys comment in the Facebook comments right now, and you'll enter to win the record and the poster, and we got a t-shirt also we're going to send you. So leave us a nice comment and walk away with some of this great music. In the meantime, I'll let John sign that and hand it around. So the one other thing I wanted to ask you was in doing these 2 records, Monk really is a challenging composer to play for anyone, I'm sure. Were there any points where you hit a wall? You realized, like, this one just I cannot translate to the format I need it to be in, or does it all kind of eventually make its way where it needed to go?
There's quite a few laying around the floor of my studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff that just wasn't coming easy. I feel like. Since I'm not writing for hire, I'm not on the gun to like a film score where, I've got to get this done. That, if it wasn't coming like naturally, that I just went on to the next tune. And sometimes, I had 3 or 4 going at once at one point.
Yeah.
Maybe more, and I just switch around to the other tune, or take a walk.
Yeah.
Most of the times I don't write at the piano anymore, or even at the computer. I kind of sing in my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Singing
just like Monk did, I think. Isn't that how he wrote songs?
Man. His Nagra.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So it becomes more of a I can get the tempo down, bass lines, a beatbox, whatever, to kind of get a vibe going, and then go home and sort of listen to it and transcribe it. And then you end up with more inspiration, and it kind of breeds more inspiration when you're actually doing it.
And when you're doing it live. Is there still room for a lot of interpretation within it? These aren't charts that you have to sort of play right off the page.
Yeah, we're like a big small band,
Yeah.
I like to open up spaces for cats to riff, like the horn section guys to make up riffs behind solos and, kind of make it fresh every day. A lot of big bands you go to see, and it's, you know, they play the head, and then the horn sections are sitting around while everybody's solo, and then they take it out. This is kind of more like a throwback to like Fletcher Henderson or Duke Ellington, where cats were more free to make up stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna do one more for us from
Yeah.
from the Monkestra collection. What's that one gonna be?
This one's called Skippy, and it's actually based on T for Two, the old song from the 20s or whatever, right? And Monk used to play T for Two a lot, and then he started kind of making these alternate changes behind it, and then he actually wrote this melody on top of the alternate changes of T for Two.
Cool.
All right. Okay. Get the accordion going.
That's Clarence Penn on the drums right there. That is Yasushi Nakamura on the bass and John Beasley on the piano. The new album is Monkestrel Volume 2, just came out in September. Today is the 100th anniversary of his birth, his 100th birthday. It is also your birthday, I understand.
Yeah.
Although
oddly enough.
not the centennial, I don't think.
No, not yet.
Not yet, yeah. So those records are out. Everyone should go pick those up. You guys have a showcase coming up here in the city at the Jazz Standard, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And then Sunday in San Francisco, I believe.
At SF Jazz.
At SF Jazz.
Yeah.
So that sounds great. Those are both...
Sorry, a bunch of dates in Europe coming up. A Tokyo Blue Note in November, and then Belgium, Germany.
Great. All our readers tuning in from all of those places.
There you go.
Check out the Monkestra in your town.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming and playing for us at Paste today. And it's a great record. And we'll see you at the Jazz Standard, yeah?
Appreciate what you do for the arts and Pace and everything, man.
Hey, pleasure's all ours, guys.
Nice.
Come back and play for us again anytime.
All right, man.
All right.
Thank you.